Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This is HD StarCraft, and I'm here to bring you guys another StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm broadcast. And today we're going to be looking at the red Protoss player in the top left-hand corner of the map. His name is, of course, WhiteRa, and his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner is going to be the blue Zerg player by the name of EG.LORDZERG RC, which I have no idea who the hell this is. It could be one of their players. I'm assuming it's one of EG's players here playing under one of their proxy accounts or something like that. You know, I follow EG, but I don't follow them closely enough to know exactly how many accounts they have and which proxies they might be using. But I do have one interesting tidbit of information. Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid have now joined hands. They are now conjoined together at the hip, at least for the Pro League in StarCraft 2 in Korea. And, you know, they've had the most famous and storied rivalries of all time, you know, like Huck versus HDRA and poaching between their players and whatnot. But the thing is here, you know, no foreign team as of yet has won in the Pro League, and so they decided to go ahead and join hands. They are the two best teams in North America with StarCraft 2 players, and so that's just an interesting little tidbit of news I thought you guys might like to know. So don't be surprised if we start seeing some tags from players like EG, Liquid, or Liquid EG. I wonder which way it would be. Of course, this is only for the Pro League. They'll still be playing against each other, and they'll still hate each other's guts wherever possible. But anyways, with that tidbit of information aside, it's time for some WhiteRa action. We've got WhiteRa making his probe do a dance over here at the natural expansion, or at least I think he is, but no, the hatchery is already down. And so, whoa, actually he is going to go ahead and try to throw a pylon back there. Now, if you note what Lord RC's got, he actually doesn't have a spawning pool at all. Someone did not tell EG Lord RC, apparently HDRA was not in very good contact with him, that you do not make a 15 hatch before making a spawning pool. This is going to be very hard for him to hold off. This probe is going to make its way back over to the natural expansion, and WhiteRa actually cancels the pylon. I don't know about that. I think he could have definitely thrown up another pylon and started making cannons. He might still do it. I'm not sure why he canceled this pylon in the first place. And you can see back at home, he has thrown down a Nexus, so there will be no cannon shenanigans or cananigans. He is just going to expand, and the reason why he canceled the pylon was so he could get the 100 minerals back in order to throw the Nexus down. I guess it's not exactly 100 because, you know, there's no refunds here in StarCraft 2, but still, I definitely feel like if you scout a Zerg player who is going no spawning pool and a hatchery, just make pylons and cannons. Even if you don't kill off the hatchery, you force a Zerg to pull so many drones off the line. Now, I'm not questioning WhiteRa's decision making by any means. Obviously, this might be some new development. Maybe players just don't feel like it's worth it anymore, or maybe there's been some new way for Zerg to counter this that at the very highest levels we haven't seen yet, or maybe WhiteRa just said, screw it, I want to toy around with EG.LORDZERG RC and see if he really is the Lord of Zerg. Oh, that was so corny. Anyways, what are we going to see here? WhiteRa is checking over to the third hatchery, does not see anything. There are two Zerglings, so checking out the probe. So that probe is going to probably want to get out of there and get out of harm's way. He is making his way over to the third base right now, or potential 3. And I say this with some hesitation because, you know, many times I said before, that location, this location right here, is not the prime spot for a Zerg player to throw down third hatchery. Usually, we want to get it over here, and we can see that Lord Zerg is, at least right now, kind of the Lord of Zerg. He knows where to throw that hatchery down, so maybe he is getting a little coaching from HDRA right now behind his back. And WhiteRa now going to make the probe go all the way back home. Good job by him to not lose the scouting probe. In fact, if you look at the resources lost tab, the only reason why the Protoss has lost 25 minerals is because he canceled the pylon. The only reason why the Zerg has lost 6 minerals is I think he canceled an extractor. So right now there has been no real losses this game, just the no money back guarantee policy that Blizzard has implemented here for StarCraft 2. But we do have a Mothership Core on the way right now. That Overlord is coming into the main base, does not fear any Stalkers yet. That was actually really good timing by Lord Zerg. You know, just kidding. I've had a hard time calling this guy Lord Zerg, EG Lord Zerg. You know, when I look at EG, I'm thinking HDRA, but it's not HDRA. I gotta keep telling myself that. But anyways, Lord Zerg does have the Overlord now parked over the Nexus. He is gonna have to get out of there because, as I mentioned, the Cybernetics Core is done, and there should be a Stalker or a Sentry coming out pretty soon here, but I don't see, actually, he's making another Zealot. So WhiteRa might try to be aggressive here at the front door. He made the first Stalker actually come all the way out. He is going to try to punish the third hatchery here. Now, this isn't designed to kill it off, but it is designed to kill off a couple of queens. And so we can see RC is gonna, or Lord Zerg is gonna bring this queen back down where it's protected by the other queen overhead, but not enough energy for a transfuse, it seems like. So one queen is gonna fall, sister one is down, and the Zealot and the Stalker now gonna, you know, do a little bit of damage to the hatchery, but honestly, like I said, this isn't designed to kill off a hatchery. It's designed to pressure the Zerg player. And WhiteRa knows this. He's not going to commit. He is going to pull back and claim the Xel'Naga towers. And from here, it's really his option. Does he expand it? And it looks like he is. And I was going to say he can expand, or he could try to two-base all in Lord Zerg. But it looks like he is going to just fall back and play it safe. Even starting to work down those rocks now, which, you know, with a Mothership Core and a Zealot, that is going to go down pretty quickly. We do have Zerglings coming in, though, and Lord Zerg going to try to get in here. You'll note there are no upgrades on the tab. We do have Zergling speed on the way. +1 just finished for WhiteRa, but his Zealots died so quickly they never even was able to make use of +1 weapons. There is one Zealot still alive, though, that was working down the middle rocks. He is going to go down, though, because there's so many Zerglings here, but with the Mothership Core overhead and the damage that he's already dished out, it seems like these Zerglings are so weakened now. There's only 2 left that they're not really going to be able to do much. And that Zergling, even if it escapes the Mothership Core, it will not get past the Photonic Cannon. And so Nexus 3 is online, and WhiteRa is just got to start to work down these rocks. Does this Photon Cannon actually have enough range to hit these rocks? I think it does, and that's actually really smart. I never thought of that, but you put the cannon in the middle as Protoss, you can break down these rocks really quickly. So there we go, and now Lord Zerg knows, okay, I'm down, well, I'm not down a base, but, you know, the Protoss has a 3rd base, and because of that, I should look to get a 4th hatchery pretty soon here. We do see a Macro Hatch coming, and he's got 2 Evolution Chambers that just finished as well. Now, I did notice a Hydralisk Den, so we might see Roach Hydra here. 4 Hydras being made, and you guys might recall Davey Kim's, I don't know, I didn't make a video about it, but David Kim did say that Hydras are going to have their speed buff lowered down to the layer, potentially. He said this is like, not the final patch notes, but it's a preliminary patch note. So I didn't make a video about it because I want to wait till the patch actually comes out. But it does seem like Blizzard wants to make the Hydralisk faster now at layer, which basically makes it a Brood War Hydralisk, which is awesome for me. But, you know, just kind of a little tangent right there. WhiteRa now is bringing the Mothership. Whoa, that's a lot of sentries. That's the thing about Protoss, man. You never know what kind of units are coming out. It comes out so quickly. That's going to be a lot of sentries. He's making a zero clutter money, fastest money map style building pylon placement here. And he is moving out with a ton of gateway units. The Mothership Core has been alive this entire game, has 3 kills already. We'll see if she's going to be able to get any more kills now that she's got backup. There is a pylon coming up where Lord Zerg wants to get a 4th hatchery. You'll note both players' harvesters are just phenomenal. It's 11 minutes in and they are maxed on worker count. That's what you expect when you are watching pro gamers. Now, we do have a robotics bait coming down, so we will have Colossus coming out. One thing you will note now in Heart of the Swarm you don't see as much anymore is the Broodlord Infestor combo of death. The Tempests just really dominate Broodlords so heavily. Now, it's not to say you won't see it, but you are seeing Zerg experiment more with Roaches, Hydras, and different types of unit compositions. I don't see too many Swarm hosts lately, though. It seems like they've definitely fallen out of favor out of all the pro games I've been casting. We might see, that might be why Blizzard is saying they're going to make Swarm hosts a little easier to use, too. But what I was going to say is we might see WhiteRa go into Tempest to combine with his Colossus as well. And yeah, just as I said, there is a Stargate on the way. Tempest Colossus is actually such a deadly combo. And I know WhiteRa, through the games I've been casting of him so far, he definitely makes use of the Tempest whenever possible. He loves him some Tempest, man. He brings the Category 5 Storm when he comes to town, so you got to be really careful. Lord Zerg right now, just sticking with Roach Hydra, he is going to get the Windfesters on the field. I saw somebody make a comment about that in a prior video. When is Blizzard going to nerf the Windfester? Well, looks like they were just nerfed in Wings of Liberty, so there it is. We do have a Viper coming out for Lord Zerg, so this is interesting. Now the Viper, Roach Hydra Viper, or just Hydra Viper, or Viper period, is so good against Colossus because it can yank them, it can pull them out of position. It is an amazing unit against Colossus in general. That is one thing that WhiteRa will have to be careful about, and that's why he's got to start to add on Tempest now. You can see he's got 2 more Colossus on the way, so he does have double Robo, but I don't know how long he wants to continue making Colossus for, because Vipers, like I said before, very good unit against the Colossus. And so far, this has actually been a pretty relaxing game. Look at the resources, lost tab, 500 to 906, you know, nothing too serious here. But WhiteRa is pushing out right now, and he is coming down with +2 weapons, +1 armor, so +1, +2. And he's got a couple more Colossus on the way as well. This is a pretty early attack, a little bit of awkward timing, I feel like. Usually, Protoss want to wait until they, well, let's just check the upgrades right now. He does have, like, Senate Thermal Lance about to finish. I was going to say, you know, he wants to wait until a round of upgrades finishes, and it does look like he just finished the Colossus range, and maybe he's going to wait for +2 armor to finish before he pushes out. And that has actually caused Lord Zerg some fear here. He's actually making 6 or so spine crawlers, and back at home he is consuming his own buildings, not going with the Evo chamber strategy, rather just consuming his hatcheries, and that is what HDra likes to do. I've been watching HDra stream a little bit. He sure does love to consume his own hatcheries. I don't know why. That must be an EG thing. But I do feel like it leaves it vulnerable to DTs or Zealots or something later in the game. We'll have to see. Here comes WhiteRa. He is coming in with his army, so is Lord Zerg. But he's got to be careful, man. The power of the Protoss fireball there. That I'm talking about the Colossus. Yes, it is very dangerous against Roach Hydra. And will the Vipers come in? They have to come to help the Roaches and Hydras. Will they use Abduct or will they use Binding Cloud? It looks like they abduct a Colossus in, abduct a second Colossus in. Both Colossus going down oh so quickly. But the Vipers are not going to continue using their Abduct. They're not going to continue kidnapping the Colossus in range. Instead, it looks like Lord Zerg's got to fall back here, and he's going to lose a hatchery. And that was just a great position for WhiteRa because all of Lord Zerg's army was clumped up on the ramp. Not a very effective spot to be. And this Protoss army from WhiteRa is just going to cleave through the 4th hatchery. That is the 4th hatchery, I believe. No, that's actually the 5th. We do have 4 bases all on the right-hand side of the map. So Lord Zerg gonna continue fighting here. He's gonna drop a bunch of Binding Clouds down. Will it be enough? Actually, the entire Protoss army cannot attack. Beautiful Binding Clouds over the entire Protoss arsenal, and everything reduced to melee range, which means that nothing here can attack but Zealots. And WhiteRa said, I don't know about that. I'm not going to stay there and fight. I'm just going to back out. But honestly, WhiteRa hasn't lost much. He's going to pull back here. He is going to probably be able to deny this hatchery. You will note his supply is at 196, but the Zerg isn't doing too shabby at all. He's at 193, and he's got a pretty good bank as well. Is this actually HDra in disguise? I don't even know. I mean, I hope it is, but this is a very good Zerg player to be able to be maxed and have such a great bank as well. Yeah, he lost a hatchery, but he can still fight toe-to-toe here against WhiteRa. He is going to move in with everything he's got. Roaches and Hydras yanking those Colossus in. Those 2 Colossus are completely out of position, going down oh so quickly. The Roaches and Hydras have a great concave as well. 1 hatchery over to the 12 o'clock position is most likely going to go down here. And it looks like HDra, or excuse me, Lord Zerg RC is, well, he is going to be able to win this fight because WhiteRa is going to pull out. But that was a very, very close battle, forcing WhiteRa actually to extract his units. Lord Zerg also cancels his hatchery over here at the top side, so a very good cancellation. And this is an amazing game of StarCraft 2. So far, though, if you look at the income, actually, Lord Zerg has lost so many workers. He's only at 48 drones right now. You know, it's about half the worker count of the Protoss player WhiteRa. And if we look at the resources lost tab, the Zerg has lost a little bit more as well. But what I'm keeping my eye on is just the current resources right now. And you can see that Lord Zerg still has a lot of money to play with, way more than WhiteRa does. And so, with that in mind, I really do feel like the Zerg player is still in this game. Yeah, he's lost 2 hatcheries, but more amazingly, I think than anything else, is the fact that he's still in this game despite losing 2 hatcheries. Most Zerg players right now I know of would be dead. And WhiteRa here actually committing in, actually making a bit of a mistake. Should have had his Stalkers under better vision there, but he is going to go ahead and fight here. He's got a great concave. You'll note that Lord Zerg is not in the best position. He does have creep though. He's going to be able to pull out, but losing quite a bit of his forces there. Upgrades currently 2-2 for the Zerg player and 3-3 for WhiteRa. So WhiteRa is holding that upgrade advantage over Lord Zerg. It looks like this hatchery now is going to be completely isolated. A little bit of a ninja hatch, but WhiteRa will be able to take it down. Cancel gets off at the last second. Unbelievable right there. Really good timing. So I don't know if this is Machine or not, or HDra or not, but whoever it is, obviously he is a very good Zerg player. and so far has been making a great game. But I think WhiteRa has the advantage now. He's killed so many hatcheries this game, but that's a lot of roaches and hydras, and the Colossus, which are the best counter to hydras, have been completely taken down, and stalkers aren't that great against roaches and hydras. They are under Binding Cloud as well, so they're not that effective, and it looks like WhiteRa has to pull out. This is unbelievable. LORDZERG is going to be able to win the fight. A lot of stalkers here that were brought in from the warp in are going to get cut off as they were trying to retreat, and LORDZERG is looking phenomenal right now. He's got Hydra speed, he's about to finish 3-3, so he's going to be on par with WhiteRa, and at this point in the game, this is when I start to feel like, with so many Vipers on the field, in fact there are 4 Vipers right now, of course that they can consume and get as much energy as they need, I feel like Colossus are just not that good against late game Zerg. Able to yank your Colossus left and right, it's just not a good unit. Maybe WhiteRa should consider going, I'm not saying what he should or shouldn't do, but I feel like maybe he should try to play around more with late game air sky toss. You know, a lot of Tempest here could be very good. Templars and Tempest I've seen being very effective as well. But here we go, WhiteRa once again just out of position, getting shot down with Binding Cloud, getting his Tempest continually yanked. It is going to go down so quickly, and WhiteRa has to pull out. Could he lose a base? The Mothership Core has been called in. And no, it was not teleported in. They don't have that ability anymore. Rather, it was just warped in from this Nexus. Couldn't have come at a better time. Of course, it doesn't have enough energy to do anything useful, but I guess just the presence of the Mothership Core causes LORDZERG a little bit of fear. He's going to pull out, and now he is going to go up to another... Oh my god, is he going to get that Colossus? Oh yes, he is. What was that Colossus doing? Oh my god. I feel like the Colossus driver should go through a very strict training program in order to become qualified to drive and operate the Colossus. Somehow, somewhere, some way, that driver obviously did not go through the training. He kind of fell asleep through that. So that was a terrible Colossus and his driver. That just went down so quickly. So really bad right there from WhiteRa, but you know, by no means is he out of this game, but I definitely feel like momentum's starting to swing back to LORDZERG. If you just look at how the game has gone so far, he hasn't killed off any Nexi yet, but he has map control right now. He's keeping WhiteRa contained on the bases that he's got. He's not allowing WhiteRa to get another one. This observer is going to see the entire Zerg swarm now coming in, and this is where WhiteRa is going to have to make his hold. He just doesn't really have a very good army, I feel like, and the Colossus pretty much don't mean diddly squat. The Tempests are getting yanked in as well, and there goes the Binding Cloud once again. WhiteRa has to pull back behind his Photon Cannons. I think the Photon Cannon is also affected by Binding Cloud as well, so it really doesn't help at all. More units being warped in, another Colossus coming in, but the Tempests, are they going to go for the yank? They will not. It looks like they don't have enough energy to do so. So LORDZERG might want to actually retreat here without the ability to abduct this Colossus. Basically, the you know, Roaches and Hydras are not going to be effective. You're just brought right back down into a Wings of Liberty matchup where without the ability to you know, cancel the terrain, cancel the range advantage that the Colossus have, really it's not worth fighting. Changelings though are going to be sent in, so LORDZERG says, well, if I'm not going to fight, I am going to get some intelligence. But one of the Changelings goes down almost immediately. Meanwhile, at the top hand side, what is going on here? We've got a couple of Photon Cannons preventing a drone from becoming a hatchery, and a couple of Zealots there as well. WhiteRa is actually going to push in with his army of Stalkers. You'll note, of course, he has Blink, so it's not cost effective to abduct a Stalker. And also, LORDZERG has to be a little careful, because when he sends the Vipers in, a very astute Protoss player will say, alright, your Vipers are coming in, I'm going to blink my Stalkers forward and target fire those Vipers so that they cannot abduct my core units. So that's something that you have to definitely keep an eye out here for, guys, as we watch this game continue to develop. WhiteRa is actually now getting shields level 2, so he's really rounding up his upgrades. I did also note that he had a Templar in production as well, so you'll note here there are 3 Templars already on the field. Does he have Psionic Storm? Not yet, and he is not researching it, so I guess he's just going to go for Archons. Another Colossus going down in the middle of the field. What is going on these days? This is like how the United States hands out their driver license program, man. This is, you know, just licenses for everybody. I don't understand. WhiteRa is going to have to make another hold here, but it's going to be pretty hard because he doesn't have all of his Colossus here, but he does end up feedbacking the Vipers which is going to take him out very quickly. So I totally forgot about the feedback ability, which is a great counter against the Vipers. You'll see the feedbacks right there, but they were not enough to kill off the Vipers before they could yank them in. And this is going to be a very close battle. Who is going to be able to take the win here? It looks like LORDZERG is, but reinforcements coming in. A lot more Stalkers here, and that's just enough Stalkers to push LORDZERG back. And LORDZERG is now in full retreat. That was an intense fight. 161 supply to 141 right now. This has got to be one of the closest top-level pro games that I have seen in a very long time, and that includes both Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. Right now, I have no idea who's going to win this game. This is on literally a knife's edge. You could cut the tension with anything, with your foot if you wanted to. This is just insane, and WhiteRa is going to have to blink out of there. He's once again on the creep, but he does get the hatchery kill, and that is why I feel like it's a little sketchy to consume your own hatchery. Why do that and leave it open to and vulnerable to a blink attack, to a zealot attack, to a dark templar? There are just so many things. Even a single tempest can come in, or a mothership core can finish off that hatchery, and that's exactly what happened there. LORDZERG lost his hatchery, which means he's going to lose all the money here and all the gas here for about the next minute or so. So a terrible loss right there for LORDZERG, but he's still got a big army, and he's adding on more Vipers. He's got 4 Vipers on the way to replenish his Viper count. We can see that all the bases on the map, except for the 12 o'clock position right now, are claimed. It's going to be, I think, a good idea for LORDZERG to check that 12 and kill off these photon cannons and get this hatchery down. There really isn't any reason why he doesn't have that hatchery at this current time of the game. But you look at the bank, and you look at the supplies, and actually, unbelievably, LORDZERG has more money than WhiteRa. He still does, even though he's not mining this 12 o'clock base. So it almost seems like, well, why take the base now when he's not even mining out of this one at this moment in time, and he's actually got less drones than WhiteRa's got probes. So it almost seems like maybe LORDZERG is saving the 12 o'clock position for later on in the game. I don't know. That's a very interesting policy that he's kind of playing around with right now, and he is going to actually end up killing off his buildings here, which at this moment these hatcheries don't really matter all that much. It would be nice to keep them alive for larva, and you'll see that's why LORDZERG went ahead and dropped out a couple of transfuses. Man, all of his buildings are just bleeding to death here. Of course, the blood fuels the energy of the Viper, but we'll see what happens here. It looks like WhiteRa is going to go in and try to take out the reborn hatchery, but he's got a fight here, and the Colossus are all getting yanked in. Vipers now getting feedbacks by the Templar on the ground. A great way to counter the Vipers, in fact, but it looks like LORDZERG is going to be able to win this fight. WhiteRa's in a lot of trouble, but he's got 3 Tempests here in the background continuing to fire. Will the Tempest actually be able to be the difference maker here? With more reinforcements coming, it looks like WhiteRa should be able to win this fight. Unbelievable. This is just an incredible match of StarCraft 2. One Tempest trying to get out of the way. It will go down. And LORDZERG now continuing to retreat his forces. He is back on the creep, so his Hydra's getting a little bit of a movement speed buff there. Now going up to the high ground, Roach is going to have to go in the front and tank for those much more fragile Hydralisks as the charge is continuing to charge in. It looks like this hatchery now going to take some fire from the Tempests. And LORDZERG now says, okay, WhiteRa, if you can reinforce that quickly, so can I. And now both players are just dumping their excessive bank into continual reinforcements. This is like a tug of war, and now it's going to come down to the micro. It looks like WhiteRa getting out-positioned here and just has too many Zerg reinforcements coming in. LORDZERG was able to just mass up a huge bank of forces so quickly. Very good with the inject larva and keeping his larva count high. You'll note right now his larva count is at 32. This is such a high level StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm game, and at this moment I still don't know who is winning. WhiteRa is moving into the middle of the map here, but he just cannot fight Roaches and Hydras with primarily Stalkers. He needs to start to incorporate some Psionic Storm, or it looks like he's just sticking around with Colossus and Tempest, but I feel like this game the Colossus have just been completely neutered by the Vipers, so he needs to protect his Colossus better. And by doing, how do you do that? He needs to, I think, go ahead and start to make more Templar. Feedback against the Vipers would be so effective. You'll see another Abduct right there, and that Tempest just goes down immediately. But yeah, as I was saying before, I feel like if he could just make a lot more... What is going on here? LORDZERG can't make up his mind what he wants to do. But you know, the Tempests are just so good. The Vipers are just so good, but the Templar can counter them so easily. So it would be nice right here for WhiteRa to go ahead and make some more of that tier 3 psionic based unit. The 12 o'clock position still is not being mined right now, and this game is just out of control. WhiteRa is definitely holding back right now. He's staying more defensive and passive more than LORDZERG is. LORDZERG being aggressive, but we'll see what happens. It looks like WhiteRa's got a lot of Colossus this time around, and where are the Vipers? There are no Vipers overhead. They were all taken out at a prior engagement. I'm not sure when, so this is just purely Roaches and Hydras versus the Protoss Ball. I don't think LORDZERG can win this fight. He is bringing in Corruptors now to counter the Tempest, and not Vipers, but actually, will LORDZERG be able to win? I don't know. That one Colossus in the background could be the difference maker, and it looks like LORDZERG says, I'm just going to pull back my Hydras and wait, but now he's going to go in with Hydra speed, going to take out the Colossus and the Tempest and the Stalkers, and LORDZERG, actually, both players trading hugely here. You can look at the resources lost. WhiteRa has lost a tad more than the Zerg player has, but it's such a close game right now. I can't tell you guys how close it is. Just look at the top right hand corner, and you'll note the money right now is just dwindling down to almost zero. There are now Brood Lords being made. It's the ultra late game Zerg response here, where Brood Lords originally were phased out in Heart of the Storm because of the power of Tempest. Now LORDZERG says, you know, it's so late in the game now, maybe WhiteRa can't afford any more Tempest, so I'm just gonna try to make some Brood Lords because they're good. They always have been. So we'll see how effective this is gonna be, but WhiteRa is making a Tempest right now, and I really wonder what the hell happened to the Viper squad. Were they picked off by feedbacks? Were they lost in a prior engagement? Because had there been more Vipers in that last fight, that could have just went completely in the favor of the Zerg player from EG. I'm not entirely sure, and we don't see any more Vipers being made. In fact, we see Infestors coming out. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we've got the Windfestors on the way now, and I'm not entirely sure if the latest patch, which affects Wings of Liberty, actually affects StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look here at some of these tabs here, but it's really hard to tell until he actually casts an Infested Terran or uses a Fungal Growth. I'll be able to let you guys know then. Even then, a Fungal Growth would be hard to tell because it only affects the range. The newest patch, of course, the newest patch, if you guys don't know already, it makes the Infestor's eggs, the Infested Terran's eggs from 100 HP down to 70, so they can die to 1 Psionic Storm, and the Fungal Growth range has been reduced by 1, so it's the only way I'm going to be able to tell you guys if he makes some Infested Terrans. But regardless, WhiteRa, you know, I think it's still in this game for sure. It's so close right now, it's hard to say one way or the other. In fact, he might even be ahead if I'm looking at the top right now and the supplies, and the reason for that, I think, might be because this top expansion still is not taken by the Zerg player, and great Fungal right there, gonna keep that Viper in range. It will not go down though. Ow, but it will go down to a Fungal Growth. Beautiful by LORDZERG. He takes out one of the Tempests, but as I was saying before, I think this is where it's starting to hurt the Zerg player a little bit. The fact that he doesn't have this 12 o'clock expansion, so essentially, he's been playing this game down a base against WhiteRa, and I still don't know why he hasn't taken this 12 o'clock hatchery. If he did, he could replenish his bank. You can see right now at the money tab, the bank for the Zerg player is just not as high as the Protoss, and he's starting to fall behind little by little. So I'm not entirely sure why. In fact, WhiteRa now is going to go for a robbery. He's gonna go corroborate his probes for a robbery at the 12 o'clock. He's gonna take out the money of the Zerg player, and now the Special Tactics Warp Prism making a guest appearance as well, and LORDZERG gotta clean this up. But more importantly, for the late game, for the future of this battle, he has got to replenish his economy by taking out this 12 o'clock base and planting a hatchery down there. I'm not sure what the hesitation is all about, but you know, I guess he's so distracted with the Warp Prism or whatever, but I just don't understand why you wouldn't take this 12 o'clock at this point in the game. This is now 40 minutes in. He's run out of money. His entire army is just chilling down here. I think what he might be doing here is saying, I'm going to make one final push, one huge death push, and I'm going to hope that this is going to win me the game. I literally think that is what LORDZERG is thinking right now. He said, I don't have enough time to make another hatchery. I don't have 300 minerals to spare. I'm gonna make one massive attack and hope it wins me the game. And you know what? He's pretty much maxed. It might just. He's got Wind Infestors and Broodlords. You cannot forget their power. They are very, very good indeed. And looking at the Tempest count for WhiteRa, he does have 4 Tempests. So we're about to see just how effective Tempests are against Broodlords, which typically they are. But there are a lot of Corruptors here. There are a lot of Hydras here as well, excuse me. So they could get underneath the Tempest and take them out. We'll just have to see what happens. That Warp Prism, though, is just being so annoying. The charge lots are being dropped off all over the place. And it looks like these charge lots, they're all going to go down, but he killed off quite a bit of drones. In fact, look at the workers kill tab this game. 61 workers have gone down in total. And another interesting factor here is, even though both armies are maxed out, about 50 supply for WhiteRa is tied up into probes. So that's 50 supply of difference in terms of army. So if LORDZERG in fact is making this massive push on one base, or not one base, but massive push without an extra base, it might just be effective, but he has to work through the extra surplus money that WhiteRa's got. So this is going to be very interesting. We'll see how this is going to go down. A lot of changelings coming out right now. WhiteRa has to be careful. He got to keep these Tempests next to his main army so they don't go down to the Hydralisks. The Tempest's job solely right now is to take out the Broodlords. The Queen's going to try to keep the Broodlords alive, but this battle is just going to go so well for WhiteRa. He's got the ramp position. He's got the high ground. He's got the choke. And I don't see how in the world LORDZERG is going to win this fight, but he's going to try to kill off all these stalkers, but his army is just getting decimated by the 5 Colossus in the back. He finally breaks through. Does he have enough firepower to take out these Colossus? 2 have gone down, 3 have gone down, but LORDZERG calls GG. Well played. He knows he's run out of money. He's running on fumes now. He couldn't take out the final 2 Colossus, and even if he did, he knows that there is no chance he can last against WhiteRa, who now had another base on top of it. In fact, he stole the 12 o'clock base. So I definitely feel like this game was, if not one of the best high-level StarCraft 2 Heart of the Storm game we've seen thus far. Of course, it's WhiteRa, and I don't know, a mystery EG player, I'm guessing here. It might not even be a guy from EG, but who knows. And just an incredible Zerg versus Protoss at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this cast, and if you did, check me out. I'm at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HD StarCraft. Of course, I'll have more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Storm content coming out for you guys very soon. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to everybody. Stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next video. And this is HD, and I am signing out.